Hi, welcome to Let Us Seek the Lord, where we read through the scriptures in 3.5 years, taking 1 to 2 chapters a day. Today happens to be a 2-chapter day. We're looking at Joshua 16 and 17. Today is July the 12th. So let's get to reading. A lot fell to the children of Joseph from the Jordan by Jericho to the waters of Jericho on the east, to the wilderness that goes up from Jericho through the mountains to Bethel, then went out from Bethel to Luz, passed along the border to the Archites at Ataroth, and went down westward to the boundary of the Japhletites, as far as the boundary of the lower Beth Horon to Gezer, and it ended at the sea. So the children of Joseph, Manasseh, and Ephraim took their inheritance. The border of the children of Ephraim, according to their families, was thus. The border of their inheritance on the east side was Ataroth Adar, as far as upper Beth Horon. And the border went out toward the sea on the north side of Mikmethath. Then the border went around eastward to Anath, Shiloh, and passed by it on the east of Janoahah. Then it went down from Janoahah to Ataroth and Naarah and reached Jericho, and then came out at the Jordan. The border went up from Tappuah westward to the brook Kana, and it ended at the sea. It was at the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Ephraim, according to their families. The separate cities for the children of Ephraim were among the inheritance of the children of Manasseh, and all the cities with their villages. They did not drive out the Canaanites who dwelt in Gezer, but the Canaanites who dwell among the Ephraimites to this day and have become forced laborers. Chapter 17. There was also a lot for the tribe of Manasseh, for he was the firstborn of Joseph, namely for Machir, the firstborn of Manasseh, the father of Gilead. Because he was a man of war, therefore he was given Gilead and Bashan. And there was a lot for the rest of the children of Manasseh, according to their families, and the children of Abiezer, the children of Halak, the children of Asriel, the children of Shechem, and the children of Hefer, and the children of Shemadiah. And these were the male children of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, according to their families. But Zelophehad, the son of Hefer, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, had no sons, but only daughters. And these are the names of his daughters: Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. And they came near before Eleazar the priest, before Joshua the son of Nun, and before the ruler, saying, The Lord commanded Moses to give us an inheritance among the brethren. Therefore, according to the commandment of the Lord, he gave us an inheritance among the father's brothers. 10 shares fell to Manasseh. Excuse me a second, I got mixed up. Okay, therefore, according to the commandment of the Lord, he gave them the inheritance among their father's brothers. 10 shares fell to Manasseh, besides the land of Gilead and Bashan, which were on the other side of the Jordan, because the daughters of Manasseh received an inheritance among his sons, and the rest of Manasseh's sons had the land of Gilead. And the territory of Manasseh was from Asher to Mikmethath, that lies on east of Shechem, and the border went along south to the inhabitants of En-Tappuah, and Manasseh had the land of Tappuah, but Tappuah on the border of Manasseh belonged to the children of Ephraim. The border descended to the brook Kanah, southward to the brook. The cities of Ephraim were among the cities of Manasseh. The border of Manasseh was on the north side of the brook, and it ended at the sea. Southward it was Ephraim's, northward it was Manasseh's, and the sea was its border. Manasseh's territory was adjoining Asher on the north, and Issachar on the east. And in Issachar and in Asher, Manasseh and Beth-shean had its towns, Ibleam and its towns, and the inhabitants of Dor and its towns, the inhabitants of Endor and its towns, and the inhabitants of Taanach and its towns, and the inhabitants of Megiddo and its towns, 3 hilly regions. Yet the children of Manasseh couldn't drive out the inhabitants of those cities. But the Canaanites were determined to dwell in that land. And it happened when the children of Israel grew strong that they put the Canaanites to forced labor, but they didn't utterly drive them out. Then the children of Joseph spoke to Joshua, saying, Why have you given us only one lot and one share to inherit, since we are a great people, inasmuch as the Lord has blessed us until now? Joshua answered them, "If you're a great people, then go up to the forest country, clear a place for yourself there in the land of the Perizzites and the giants, since the mountains of Ephraim are too confined for you." But the children of Joseph said, "Mountain country is not enough for us. And all the Canaanites who dwell in the land of the valley have chariots of iron. But those who are of Beth Shean and its towns, and those who are of the valley of Jezreel." Joshua spoke to the house of Joseph, to Ephraim and Manasseh, saying to them, "You're a great people, have great power. You shall not have only one lot, but the mountain country shall be yours. Although it's wooded, you shall cut it down, and its farthest extent shall be yours. For you shall drive out the Canaanites, though they have iron chariots and are strong." Brings back memories. It had been a long, dry spell. In a hot Oklahoma summer, I was probably 9 years old. My brother and I went for a bicycle ride down the country section line roads. He was 5 years my senior, and his legs were a little more powerful than mine. We came to a valley on the road, and the dry weather, the constant travel of the red clay roads wore the clay into fine, fine red clay sand. It was a loose sand, a couple of inches deep down in the valley. And try as I might, I couldn't make my pedals turn. Without any forward momentum, I had to dismount my bike. I was still pointed downhill. If I couldn't overcome the hold of the sand going downhill, what would happen when I had to ascend out of the valley? Why didn't my brother slow down? He was still mounted and already going up the hill. I was starting to become fearful that I'd be left behind, and I began to call for help. He waited to get to the top of the hill before he turned, and he answered my call. No, he wouldn't return to help me. "You can do it," was his only reply. I was really frustrated. I was just barely big enough to ride the bike. It was extremely heavy, and it was impossible to push through the sand. Even if I got it through the sand without any momentum, I'd have to push it all the way up the hill. I begged and complained, but he wouldn't come back to help. Now I was fighting tears of frustration, and all he would do was say, "Do it yourself." He did not come to help me. Obviously, I'm no longer in the valley, and so my fears did not come true. Yes, I made it home with the bicycle and under my own power, and no, he didn't help me. He just kept telling me that I had to do it. The tribe of Manasseh couldn't drive out the people in the valley of Jezreel, the giants that were there. The Canaanites had chariots of iron as well as the giants, of military technology that the Israelites did not possess. It was kind of like in those days, maybe to a tank of our days. Mountain living is nice, but it takes a lot more land per person to make a living there. Chariots don't do well in the mountains, so they could take the mountains, but they needed land to cultivate, and that's down in the valley. It's a lot more difficult down there. They complained to Joseph, "It's not enough room. Give us more." There wasn't any more room. The Lord had given them all the land they needed. "Do it yourself," was essentially Joshua's reply. Where's the glory of the Lord in this? I believe that his glory is visible and available at all times. However, there are times when he simply says, "Trust me, you can do it. You can do it yourself." And it is to his glory to strengthen us, to enable us to do it. So he leaves us in situations to strengthen us or to show us our hearts. So he leaves us in situations to strengthen us, show us our hearts. If we keep our eyes on him, we need only trust and put one foot in front of the other. Sometimes it's through tears of frustration. But he's waiting for us on the other side, all the while saying, "You can do it. You can do it." We keep going through the valley of depression. Finally, the dawn breaks, and we see His glory, and it's so sweet. Father, there are times when I am in a valley that I can't get out of, and I need you. When I hear you say, you can do it, trust me, use my power, it seems like it's an impossible task. But yet you understand, you continue to offer your power, and you continue to enable me to trust you. And Lord, in all things, you make me a victor. Sometimes it's very hard, but you make me a victor. I pray for myself and those listening that when we're in that valley where the sand just engulfs our tires and we can't seem to get going, help us to keep our eyes on you, to trust in your strength, to keep on going, putting one foot in front of the other. For we know, Lord, that when we're out of it, we'll see your glory, and it is good. Amen. Yeah, we really do serve a glorious King, so speak His glory to someone today.